past all the weasel-wolves?"
"Yes,"
said the little girl. "You're awfully young to be alone in the woods," said Wilbur, which was true, but not the sort of thing that it would occur to Harriet to say.
"They're only really dangerous at night," said the girl. "I need to get back before it's dark, though. In fact, I should leave now." "We'll go with you," said Harriet. "Give me 5 minutes to clean up and get my good sword." The little girl in red tapped her foot impatiently the whole time. Harriet and Wilbur saddled up their riding quail and followed her down the road. "Quirk," said Mumphrey, Harriet's riding quail, who didn't like weasel-wolves at all. "Quirk,"
said Hyacinth, Wilbur's riding quail, who liked weasel-wolves even less than Mumphrey did.
"Oh, what beautiful quail,"
said the little girl, flinging her arms around Hyacinth's neck.
"Aren't they just the bestest, most wonderful quail in the whole world?"
"Quirk," said Hyacinth, which was quail for, I guess? Mumphrey looked suspiciously at the little girl. "Quirk," he said, not quite under his breath. "Problem?" said Harriet. "Quirk," said Mumphrey, which was quail for, no, I guess that's something a normal person would say. Maybe. Harriet followed his gaze to the little girl. She came up to the middle of Harriet's chest, and her cloak was blazing scarlet, the color of poppies. It wasn't the sort of thing you'd wear in the woods if you were trying to be sneaky. People could probably see that cloak from the next kingdom. Still, she needed help. Harriet was the princess, so it was her job to take care of the people in her kingdom, and that meant finding out why the weasel-wolves were harassing innocent grandmothers in the woods. "What's your name?"
"Red."
"Ah, yes, very self-explanatory." They passed the tiny village of Lone Squash and looked down the road toward the forest. The countryside was tranquil, with broad farm fields and narrow bands of shaded woodland. Grain waved gently in the fields, almost up to the edge of the woods. It did not look like the sort of place where you expected to find a gathering army of weasel-wolves. Still, Harriet knew that danger could lurk in the most unexpected places. You always had to be on your guard. "So you live out here?" asked Wilbur.
"Oh, no," said Red. "I wish we did. It's so pretty and nice. But we live in the woods, which are also pretty and nice, I guess, if you like trees."
She looked briefly doubtful.
"Which I do."
"Trees are nice," offered Wilbur.
"Yes, and these are the bestest, nicest, most wonderful trees in the whole wide world."
"And you live there with your grandmother?"
"Yes, she's the bestest, nicest, kindest grandmother."
"In the whole wide world?" finished Harriet.
"Yes, how did you know?"
"Lucky guess," said Harriet. She spurred Mumphrey, and they trotted down the road and into the forest. Chapter 2. The weasel-wolves were not hard to find. Actually, they were pretty hard to miss. The road to the cottage had trees on both sides, and lurking behind each tree was a weasel-wolf. Harriet put her hand on her sword and narrowed her eyes. It was odd, though. They didn't actually look dangerous. There were no glaring eyes or gleaming fangs, and nobody seemed to be obviously slavering for hamster meat. Instead, they looked worried. "It's weird," said Wilbur as they kept riding. "They don't look like they're about to attack."
"Quirk,"
muttered Hyacinth. She kept trying to inch away from the trees, which didn't work very well, because then she was closer to the trees on the other side of the road. "They're weasel-wolves," said Harriet. "They're always about to attack. I once walked through the middle of a pack while they were sleeping, and they attacked in their sleep." The little girl tromping down the path ahead of them didn't seem frightened. Red glared at the wolves as if they had personally offended.